Greetings builders, Daniel here and welcome to the conclusion of our top 12 Crucible builds. If you missed the previous parts, don't worry, you can find all of their links together with the POBs and complete guides in the video description. In third place we have the super tanky Boneshatter Juggernaut with the Marauder class.
This build is perfect for the melee enthusiasts out there. Boneshatter hits enemies so hard that it hurts your own character, accumulating trauma stacks. For each trauma you're going to deal and take more damage. That's why it's important to gather both attack speed and armor to stack many traumas and sustain their damage. To list the pros of this build, I would start with its survivability. Even though you deal damage to yourself, this build has so much armor that you won't feel a thing. Now because of that you might think that this build had to sacrifice speed or boss damage, but no, it is still super fast and can kill guardians in just a few seconds. Now to list the cons, the first thing that comes to my mind is that you need to keep an eye on your accuracy. This is because we use the Keystone Precise technique that grants 40% more damage if your accuracy is bigger than your life. As for budget, this build is cheap. You can get it destroying early endgame maps with only around 60 chaos. To comfortably advance to yellow maps, I recommend investing around 120 chaos, and for easily completing your atlas, I recommend investing around 4 divines. Don't forget that on PoEbuilds.net you can find a list with all the equipment that you need to buy for this build, with direct links for examples being sold by other players. For clear speed I'll give it 9 out of 10. Boneshatter also creates a big pulse of damage when stunning enemies. That means that a single blow can kill an entire pack of monsters. Other than that, you stack a lot of attack speed that causes your Lip Slam to almost teleport you through the map. The boss damage is also great and deserves 9 out of 10. Using Berserk on bosses causes you to accumulate a lot of trauma stacks and deal huge amounts of damage. For the survivability, this build is surely a 10 out of 10, and I would even like to say 20 out of 10 if I could. This build achieves almost 200,000 armor and over 83% of all elemental resistances. All of that combined with the Juggernaut Ascendancy grants this character almost 500,000 effective HP. Yes, it's crazy.
In second place we have the super fun and powerful Mage Skeleton's Necromancer with the Witch class.
On this build we use the unique dual Dead Reckoning to transform our regular skeletons into mage ones. They fire elemental projectiles at a huge range and deal tons of damage. To list the pros of this build, I would start with the fact that this is a minion build that is very safe to play. You stay behind your minions and they kill everything for you from a big distance. This build also has a great clear speed, boss damage, and it's easy to put together. Now to list the cons, I will start saying that mage skeletons don't move. They feel more like a totem build. For that reason, you need to keep resummoning them while clearing maps. Another issue is that the anomalous faster projectiles make a big difference in your boss damage, and I recommend getting one of those for pinnacle bosses and guardians. As for budget, this build is not expensive at all. You can get it destroying early endgame maps with only around 80 chaos. To comfortably advance to yellow maps, I recommend investing around 150 chaos, and for easily completing your atlas, I recommend investing around 4 divines, but you can totally do it with less.
You only need one mandatory unique item for this build, the Dead Reckoning Jewel that turns your regular skeletons into mage ones.
For clear speed I'll give it 9 out of 10. You have many skeletons firing many projectiles at a high cast speed rate. I only took 1 point out because the mage skeletons don't move and you need to keep resummoning them. The boss damage is awesome and deserves 10 out of 10. When you get your anomalous faster projectiles gem, 60% of your projectiles will hit enemies twice. This was an amazing buff that came with Crucible. For the survivability, I'd also give 9 out of 10. Even though this build is very safe to play because the minions kill and tank everything for you, I took 1 point out because this build doesn't have evasion or spell suppression. If you don't mind your position, you might die.
And as the best build of our Crucible list, it couldn't be any other. Here, occupying the first place, we have the incredibly fast and strong Lightning Arrow Deadeye with the Ranger class.
With all those returning projectile shenanigans that Crucible brought, we now live in the time of archers. With very little investment that pretty much doubled most of attack projectile damage. Now Lightning Arrow got even more with its Val version that is awesome to kill bosses. To list the pros of this build, I'm not sure if I would start with its clear speed or boss damage, because both are out of this world. This build is also not complicated to put together, it's definitely the perfect mid-league build to be playing right now. Now to list the cons, I would start with its cost. Because of Lion's Fall, this build is quite expensive right now. The price of this geo already dropped a lot, but it's still expensive. About the budget, as I just mentioned, is an expensive build right now. You need around 5 Divine Orbs to put it together. You only need 2 mandatory unique items for this build. The first is of course the Lion's Fall Jewel that grants many useful nodes in our passive tree. Next, we also need a Yoke of Suffering Amulet that causes all of our elemental damage to shock. This way our enemies take a lot more damage. For clear speed, I'd give it 10 out of 10. You fire many projectiles with high attack speed and those projectiles return to you, pierce enemies and bounce off walls. You even have your Mirage Archer to fire more projectiles. No one can survive that. The boss damage is also amazing and deserves 10 out of 10. Using 2 Val Lightning Arrows plus your ballistas on bosses will kill them so fast that you won't believe it. For the survivability, I'll give this build 9 out of 10. You have armor evasion and spell suppression that grants almost 50,000 effective HP, but the main reason why this build is safe is because you can kill everything from a huge distance. You just need to mind your position.
And that's it guys, I hope you've enjoyed our top 12 Crucible series. Please stay tuned tomorrow because I'll start releasing content for the Trials of Ancestors League. And of course, don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comments and give a thumbs up to support the channel. I wish you guys an amazing day, and don't forget to keep building!